This whole idea of finding purpose, finding meaning, can really be a bit of a paradox. And that's because so long as you're looking for purpose, so long as you're looking for meaning, it means you haven't found it. It means you have not discovered it. And that's to say that when you stop looking for purpose, it will find you. Now, maybe it could be something that you do. Maybe not, though. Maybe it's something that is even more fundamental, is even more beneath the surface of, this person does this thing. I am this person to these people, therefore this is my purpose. Maybe it's something so much more fundamental than that. And there's an experience I want to share that I feel will put this into perspective. So, I went out to summit a mountain, a huge peak out in the Rocky Mountains. And that was my intention for the day. I wanted to understand meaning. I wanted to understand purpose. And so I climbed up to the top. I made it all the way to the top of this peak, and it was a difficult feat, a difficult endeavor. And when I got to the top, I felt elated, right? This sense of great accomplishment, this sense of having overcome adversity, overcome an obstacle, and that led to a high, per se, right? High on top of the peak. And something interesting that happened was on my way down, I ended up getting lost in this remote wilderness where I had ended up miles too far north of where I needed to descend the mountain, and I didn't know where I'd ended up. And so now I was down at the bottom of this, and my mind going through all of these phases of anger, of despair, confusion, all of it. So in here, I had a very literal representation of an extreme high and an extreme low. Now, obviously, I found my way back, but what that showed me was purpose is not necessarily in the endeavor itself, but what we're often looking for is the slope. When someone asks, like, how are you doing? You're not necessarily stating where you are, because you are the point in the center. This is the observer, what's going up and down, right? So it's not to say that, like, good is not going to lead to bad, or bad is not going to lead to good. It's right in between these states that is something that is us, that is the observer. And from this point of view, purpose is experience. Purpose is to have experience and to fully embrace the highs, fully embrace the lows. Just think about it. When someone is lost, right? When they're at a significant low, all that's happening is within them is wanting to escape that feeling. Wanting to get away of that feeling of stagnancy. A feeling of depression, a feeling of confusion, a feeling of not knowing the self, not knowing where we are, what we are. It's when we're experiencing that rise to the top. But once we've reached the top, that's when we often say, like, this is purpose, this is fulfilling. It's making me feel the feelings that I want to feel. Now, what if I said that purpose and meaning has nothing to do with feeling the feelings that you want to feel, but rather feeling all of it, the entire waveform, from a place of an observer? Because imagine if you didn't have this contrast, if you didn't have those moments where you were low and confused and doubtful, you wouldn't have any concept of where, I'm feeling like good, I'm on the rise, I'm going where I need to go. But the thing is, it's just another mountain. No matter what it is you set out to do in your life. Like I said, your purpose could be a thing. But even within that thing that you're doing, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have times when you're on the rise and you feel like everything's going great and everything's going smoothly. And you know exactly where you're headed and it feels awesome, right? That's often we associate that with purpose. And if you're not feeling that, then you're not living in your purpose. That, I think, is where the paradox is. To say that we lose sight of ourselves when we fall into the lower states. When things aren't going so well, you've had a few mishaps, things get confusing and you're not really sure about the direction you should take next. That's when often we say, I'm lost. I've gotten lost. But let me tell you that you cannot be lost. Because even in those moments of you being lost, you're still a soul that's here experiencing. And that's the point. The point is to embrace it. The point is to open up and experience these ups and downs fully. And in that is your purpose. You can do whatever you want. You can get involved in whatever project, whatever craft, whatever community, whatever makes you happy, whatever you want to go and do. But the purpose is not necessarily just to climb to the top. The purpose is for you to have the experience of going both sides. And once you fully accept that, and once you're fully allowing yourself to embrace those ups and downs, you recognize that purpose has a much deeper meaning than you might have suspected.